Okay, we are live and we can go ahead and get started when you're ready, Drew.
All right, I'd like to start this meeting at 7:01 p.m. So for starters, we'll go over, roll call.
Okay, I'll do roll call. Okay. Youth Commissioner Oregano.
It's Orengo, but here.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, Youth Commissioner Bender.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Chu.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Egn.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Garcia.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Ada He.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Carmen He.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Hune.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Amog Katamari.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Drew of Katamari.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Kim.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Kazarli.
Here.
Youth Commissioner Lister.
Here.
And then Youth Commissioner Wolf. Okay, thank you.
All right, next we'll go to approval of the minutes.
I motion to approve the minutes. I second.
So if you approve the minutes, say aye.
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 Any abstain? Any noes? All right. So now I guess we can move on to any new business or actually oral requests. Sorry, any oral requests? Okay, any announcements? All right, then I guess we can dive right into old business. So we're going to start off today with the documenting the Covet project with the Campbell Museum. I believe we have Anna today for where we can ask questions and get more clarification in terms of what we can do.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Hello. Yeah, so I'm glad you guys are interested in helping us out with this project. I'm not sure how much has been mentioned to everyone, but basically the idea, so I'll just kind of go over what the museum's thinking and then you guys can let me know what you've been discussing. But basically at the museum, we collect, different types of artifacts to kind of explain history to people, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. We collect things like objects, we collect photos, and we collect archives. So things like diaries or letters or posters from events, basically anything that's traditionally on paper. Though obviously nowadays with the world being so digital, a lot of our archives and photos are also digital. And so we'd like to capture how COVID-19 has affected our community. Part of this comes from the fact that we really don't have anything from the 1918 influenza in our museum to understand what the citizens of Campbell were going through at the time, what they were thinking or feeling, or how it affected them. There might be one or two newspaper articles, but at the time, the newspapers actually avoided writing about it because they didn't want to scare people. So there's not a lot there. We don't have pictures of people wearing masks or any understanding of how they kept themselves safe, though we do know that at least one whole family was killed by it. And then some of the example of where we do have stuff that's kind of helpful, if we go to World War II, we have a lot more there. We have yearbooks where we get to read about what the students at the high school were thinking and doing. A lot of their classmates had gone off to war, and so they had messages and memorials for students that were overseas. And they also did a lot of fundraising to raise funds to support the troops. And they even shrank the size of their yearbook because they, instead of spending money on a yearbook, they wanted to help the troops. So I'd like to be able to document what the youth in our community are doing right now. And I don't exactly know the best way to do it, but I'd love to try to capture how COVID has affected people, how people feel about what's going on, how people have adapted their lives to cope with everything. And that could be done through objects that symbolize changes and adaptations. It could be artwork, it could be, you know, things that people have written, or it could be photos of people wearing their masks. I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff, but that's sort of the overarching concept. So I'll leave it there.
So yeah, Drew, do you want to talk about what your kind of idea was, or what we've talked about a little bit before? And if anyone else has an idea that they've thought of.
Yeah, I was going to start off with thank you, Anna, for giving a little bit more background information about what the whole COVID-19 project was. Is helpful. So we did hear about this these past couple of weeks that we've had, and we did kind of spit out ideas of having like little videos of the Campbell Youth Commission doing activities together, or making TikToks kind of show like this is kind of like our day and age, and also like in COVID-19. Also trying to figure out other new ways, or like maybe putting like a bunch of like pictures, events all together throughout the year to kind of show like, normally everything is in person, but this year, especially being the first or only Campbell Youth Commission that's experiencing COVID-19, right? And how things like we've adapted. So we were just thinking maybe putting like our own little video documentary together. Anybody else have any ideas that I kind of missed out on to let Anna know what we had in mind? Okay, well, seems like I covered it. So do you think that'd be like a project that we can do, Anna, in terms of like kind of contributing our part and also like a team perspective towards like the whole COVID-19 project?
Right, so it sounds like you're saying the idea is maybe you'd make like a video of some length that is compiled of the activities you've done throughout the years, either of them be meetings or outreach to other students or TikToks, things like that. And then you would edit it together into sort of a, I don't know, like a little documentary almost of what you did over the year. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a great idea. I think that would capture it nicely. It kind of helps track what the Youth Commission is up to, which I think is nice. And then the different ways. Yeah, and then since it's all digital, putting it into a video makes perfect sense. And then that way, yeah, since most of the stuff is going to be digital materials. I think that sounds great. Is there any, I don't want to dictate too much about how you guys do it, because I want you guys to have a lot of freedom and creativity with whatever you make. And we're really not too picky, because we just want it to reflect your thoughts and opinions and experiences. So
yeah, are there any tips or like advice on, I don't know, things we should look out for when putting together the video? Anything that you've seen in the past that maybe didn't work well?
We've never done anything like this with any group before, so it's very new. I would say varying video formats can sometimes be a problem. Like if you're going between Macs and PCs and you've got like MP4 or WAV files or whatever, like sometimes you'll have to convert video files depending what editing, if you're using like iMovie, it's a bit fussier about what video format you're working with, and you might have to convert them. If you're working with like Premiere Pro or something, it's much more forgiving. There's also like there's lots of royalty-free music out there that you can get. I mean, YouTube has music, and then there's like freemusic.org. I have a bunch of resources I could send over. And then usually you just have to cite whoever the artist is somewhere at like the end of the movie to give them credit. And then you don't have to worry about copyright for any music that you want to add. I would say be careful. I mean, we don't have to worry too much about copyrights, but be careful about recording content that belongs to other, like, I know like with a lot of memes and stuff, we're pulling from popular culture, and that's probably fine, but like technically that's all copyright infringement. So just be careful if you're gonna be relying heavily on maybe content from somewhere else, or if you're recording yourselves at an event and there's like pop music in the background, we might not be able to use that audio just because, I mean, I'm sure you see YouTubers refer to stuff like that all the time when they're recording out in public, and sometimes they have to get rid of the audio because the store they were in was playing music that they can't afford the copyrights for. So those are like those weird little things that maybe you could think about. But
I guess a follow-up question to like the whole documentary is like, do you guys have like, say if we were to do, all right, when we do one, do you have like little like, length of time do you guys want us to like kind of fit it in, like not too much, like, don't go past like this amount of time? And like the second part to that question is like, what kind of like deadline would you like us to have? Like, do you guys have like some sort of time when you want everything to be compiled together, or is it like something that can be, it's like, go into 2021 and like still like, grab aspects of youth commission, like whatever we're doing at that time frame as well?
yeah, I think in terms of a deadline, having it run the full length of this commission's period. So I think you guys run till the summer, and then over summer, a new youth commission is usually selected. I think that's something like that. So I would say running the whole time of this current group would make sense, which means the deadline would be at the end of that term, so next spring or something like that. We're pretty flexible at the museum. And then the length, again, that's kind of up to you guys. One of the ways that I imagine this being used is, again, we're kind of trying to document it for future generations to see what was going on. And so the way this might get used in a future, let's say 20 years from now, someone's looking back on this time and they've got this video, they might put it in an exhibit, or they might put clips of it in an exhibit. They may not play the whole thing, but they might pull pieces from it to put on an exhibit or online for the public to see what was going on and what you guys created. So the length, I would say probably at least 15, 20 minutes. It could be more, but I think if it was like a 15-minute video or something, that would also be good. It really depends how you guys cut it down and edit it. It doesn't need to be like raw footage of an entire activity that you did. It could just be highlights from an activity that you did. So you might host some sort of event for other kids in the community, and maybe it was like a 2-hour event, but in the video you might edit it down to just like 1 or 2 minutes of highlights from that event or something. So does that answer your question? Is that helpful?
Yeah, that was very helpful. Thank you. Anybody else have any other questions they'd like to ask Anna? Then I guess like another follow-up thing would also be like, we also have a lot of people from the public watching. So is this like a way where they can also get involved with as well? Or how can they contribute to like this COVID project?
Yeah, oh, that's a great question. Yeah, so on the museum's website, so campbellmuseums.com, we do have a section where on like COVID-19 and tell your story. And so we are trying to collect community members who want to share their COVID story with us, or if they have an object they want to donate or photos they want to donate, that's also possible. And so we have a form on the website with information on how to contact us. So if anyone's interested in that, they can just head to the museum's website. Yeah, I think that's it. And then, yeah, as you guys are collecting stuff, if you have questions, you can have Julie send them over to me. And like I said, I can give you guys some resources to, again, copyright-free music and stuff like that to help you when you get to the editing phase.
Yeah, I think that'd be greatly appreciated if you could, send that our way. And I think also what we can do too to kind of, let more people know about, we can create a flyer and like run it through you guys and also post it on our social media so let other people and other teens in Campbell know about it. That way they can also, contribute to the project because this is a pretty historic time. So
yeah, we'd love it. The more people interested in helping, the better. And again, they don't need to be a part of whatever you guys create as the Youth Commission. They can provide their own content independent of you guys directly to the museum. And we would love that. So any help you guys can give us to get the word out would be greatly appreciated.
are any other questions from the youth commissioners? Are there any public comments, Julie?
No public comments.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Anna, for meeting with us and giving a lot more information about the whole COVID-19 project. And I guess on behalf of the Youth Commission, we can't wait to get this started and really contribute. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We're really happy to be working with you guys.
Thank you, Anna. You're welcome to stick around for the rest of the meeting or head out. But thank you very much for the information and coming here.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, now I guess we can go on to the Youth Commission work plan and the subcommittee development. So up first we have college and beyond.
Okay, so last week we had a subcommittee meeting and we decided on a final date for our first event, which is the college essay writing event. And it will be from 5 to 7 p.m. on November 11th. And so, yeah, next we really just have to send emails and advertise.
Any questions from the youth commissioners? Any public comments? All right, next we have academics.
Okay, so not much to update. We are hoping to get we're hoping to start our tutoring session. At least we were hoping to start it by this next week. Well, next week, but I don't think I believe the flyer is almost ready. So we're going to meet over the next week and discuss what we're going to do with it. And then we have some application forms that have been finished. So for the tutors and the people who will be tutoring. So I guess tell your friends about it once we get everything up and running. Tell your friends so they can either come as well, depending on how the age of them, as middle school students or tutors. So that way we can get people coming, I guess. So yeah.
Questions from the youth commissioners? Are there any public comments?
Nope.
All right, next we have civic engagement.
So we had our event on the 17th, and so we only got one person registered, but I think that we reminded a lot of people to vote and to make sure that they filled out everything, and it was great to see a lot of you guys there. So I think now our committee is just going to start planning for our event next semester, the Coffee and Politics.
Any questions or comments from the other commissioners? Are there any public comments? All right, environment.
So for the environment subcommittee, our first event is coming up very soon in planning. We have like a formal document that we're planning on it, and planning has been completed. So right now we're mostly advertising, reaching out to our various schools and then leadership and then the various environmental clubs and organizations to get the word out there. So it's happening 11-8 and it's going to be in the form of an Instagram virtual challenge. And yeah, that was just the main project we were working on.
Any questions or comments from the youth commissioners?
I would say
Are there any
that, sorry, this is a really easy one for everyone to participate in and support your fellow subcommittees. So plan for just, it can be an hour of going for a walk and have a bag and a glove with you to pick up some trash or something. And it's an easy way to take a picture and hashtag us with the environment's hashtag and support them and post it. So I would really encourage you guys to plan to do that on the 8th, right?
Oh, right. So, okay. So right, I forgot to mention, so we have like the flyer up in the Youth Commission Slack. So if like that could be posted closer to the date on the Campbell Youth Commission social media account, that would be awesome. And then if you guys could share it with your various schools, that'd be awesome too.
Are there any new comments or questions from the youth commissioners? Are there any public comments? Okay, next we have wellness.
We have another speaker for our mental health awareness seminar. His name is Eric Bowerly, and he works at Discovery Charter School. He's going to be sharing resources about mental illness and like how to help people with them. And we've decided to start the event at about 3:00 p.m. on December the 6th. And we're hoping to do it over YouTube Live.
So what was the date that you said?
December the 6th.
Any other questions or comments from the youth commissioners? Are there any public comments? All right, next we have recreation.
So in recreation, we finalized that we want to do a Thanksgiving craft event for little kids and preschoolers. We're going to have like 3 pretty easy crafts of like a turkey hand and a coloring page and a like thankful tree that they can do from their homes. And we're going to provide the supplies and instructions in a bag that we're either going to drop off or people can come pick up. And we're hoping that we could also do something virtually where we all make the crafts together. And we're also hoping that we could do kind of an Eventbrite that we could advertise to preschool families so they could sign up. So we know how many bags to make and how many supplies to get. And yeah, so that's our main focus right now.
I will say, I wanted to let you guys kind of know what's going on with the preschool in Campbell. They are doing, they're doing monthly like activity packets that it's advertised to the preschoolers, and it's kind of like the curriculum for the kids that can't be in school right now. And I really like the craft idea, but I'm wondering what ways it can be, you know, unique from that's already going on, which is just kind of tricky. I'm trying to think of it. And I know last meeting there was a quick mention about doing something with the seniors. And I know that the adult center staff over at the rec center is really interested in doing something with that. And I know I mentioned it to the wellness team and they were pretty interested in it. Also, if you guys want to collab, to do like a senior craft night, kind of same idea, but maybe like a slightly more complicated craft, you know, just some ideas out there. But I do think we can totally go through with the preschool craft. That's totally fine. I'm just trying to think of ways to make it a little more unique. And the YouTube, like not YouTube, the Zoom, like doing the craft together would be something different. So that is totally different there too. Just wanted to like let you guys know what's going on so you guys can consider that also.
Something the environment subcommittee was thinking about was doing a little recycle project with like, you know, preschoolers where they kind of take recycled products and kind of create something out of it. Kind of like, you know, give like 2 weeks to see how much they can reuse and then create like another week of putting everything together, create their own creation. So that could be something we can, you know, partner up with as 2 subcommittees to kind of take like that project to like another unique level where maybe they create their little art project and then maybe they also decorate it as well. That could be something that we can do. Anybody else have any comments or questions or just their thoughts on that kind of idea or collaboration?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
When would the event be, or do you guys have like a specific date that it might be happening? Before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving?
We're thinking either November 20th or the 21st.
All right, so then I guess for sure, then we can have environment subcommittee meet with rec and, you know, plan out how to just incorporate that idea as well. That way we're still on that plan. So cool. Any other questions or comments from the youth commissioners?
I think I like the idea of the preschool having them make some recycled balls, and then maybe we could do an online art gallery with that. Just an idea.
Yeah, kind of like a little like we can call up whoever's like submitted their thing. They can present it, like, you know, name the art project, kind of tell like, you know, what they use. I think that'd be pretty interactive thing that we can do. It's a little like presentation. Any other questions or comments?
Oh, and I did want to mention another idea that's been brought up. It might be kind of in the recreation field, but it might be other people's field if they like the idea. But it's been brought up that if Youth Commission wants to run like a holiday house decoration contest or anything like that during the Christmas time, or where people could like submit photos of their house decorated, and then it would be the Youth Commission judging the pictures and picking like the top 3 or something like that. That could be an everyone thing, or it could be a recreation thing, or a different subcommittee if anyone likes it in particular. But it was just an idea that I wanted to share with you guys.
I had an idea about, oh, sorry. Yeah, I also think that idea sounds good, but I kind of had an idea about like Thanksgiving, like a Thanksgiving thing, and it would be like it wouldn't really be an event, but maybe just like on the Instagram or something, or so like asking people to send their favorite Thanksgiving recipes and then posting them so people can kind of like see what everyone else is doing. So it wouldn't be an event, but just like a way to like kind of connect.
And maybe add like a little picture to go with the recipe too. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Any other questions or comments? Any public comments? All right, then we have social justice.
Yes, so social justice has finalized its plans for its immigration and like immigration reform and justice speaker event. So the day that we're going to hold it on is Friday, November 13th. So in about 2 weeks, a little bit more than that, starting at 4:30 p.m. over Zoom, of course. And we're not sure exactly how long it'll be, but probably like an hour to an hour and a half. And so the organization that will send speakers is the California Immigrant Policy Center. And they'll be sending 3 speakers. So someone who's a legislative advocate, policy analyst, and health and public benefit policy coordinator. So all different aspects. So yeah, so we I think we're almost done with the poster for that. So we'll probably send it out to you guys soon and ask that you advertise it to like your schools or send it to teachers if you could. That would be really helpful. So yeah, so that's that event. And then we're thinking of possibly doing like a letter writing campaign, sending out like templates for a specific issue. But so if anyone has an issue in mind, then let us know. Otherwise, we'd be doing some research.
Could you say, so you said that there is going to be 3 speakers and then you said something after that, but I couldn't catch it.
What each of them does, kind of like so the person that I was emailing with, she told me like what each of them, their specialties are. So they'll be talking about like their organization, their specialties, and like issues they think are important within immigration reform.
Do you guys have like questions prepared for that, or is it just going to be them like letting them talk about their areas of?
Yeah, so we sent them we sent them a list of general topics that we want them to cover, but they will be the ones that are like creating most of the material, and then we'll have like a question and answer at the end. So yeah, so we don't have specific questions that we want them to answer. Like they'll be directing all of the presentation that they do.
I think it'd be good to do something similar to Pizza and Politics, where we have like an email template. Like it can be almost exactly the same as the Pizza and Politics one, and then everyone can send it out to 2 teachers that are kind of in that area, or might be able to advertise it to their classes.
Okay, we'll definitely get on this. We'll send out the poster and the email template sometime soon.
You could also do like Google Forms if that's like easier, if you want to send it out to more people, but I don't know. It's up to you.
Google form, like have people who are interested fill out a Google form and then we'll send them the link to the email that they fill out, or I'm confused on what you mean by that.
So you could probably like Google Forms there. You can like make one for like teens, I guess, and then like the emails for like the adults. And the Google Forms students can sign in with like whatever like email they want, and then you could have like a little like box under it, like their name, whatever information you need, and then the questions they might want to send in, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, so I'll definitely make a Google like form where people can ask for the Q&A. They can ask questions during the thing. I think when we were talking about making an email template, that was like to publicize the event, like to advertise it.
Cool. Any other comments from the Youth Commission? Any public comments? All right, I guess that about like wraps it up for old business. So we're gonna move on to getting moved on to new business. So first we have the commission collaborative liaison nomination.
Yeah, so we got an email last week about the mayor of Campbell wanting to put together a collaborative commission where it's like one person from each of the commissions, because there's a Parks and Rec commission, there's us, there's lots of different commissions in Campbell. So she wants kind of one person to be the designated kind of person to come together and be able to share kind of what that commission's working on. It's a little bit vague as far as like when they're meeting, how often they're meeting. In the email, it just kind of says that they'll meet up to discuss as needed. So it doesn't seem like it'll be a super regular thing, but I'm not sure. But they do want us to nominate somebody, unfortunately, with kind of that vague idea. I'll say that, yeah, hang on, I'll answer questions. I will say whoever gets nominated, if there more details come out and it like totally does not work for your schedule, I'll figure that out and we'll get somebody different, or I'll tell them that, well, my person can't come because you didn't give us a schedule, and that's all we can do. So yeah, so we have to nominate somebody that would be just the person to go to those meetings and tell them kind of the general idea of like what Youth Commission's working on at that time. And that's kind of all we kind of know about that for right now. Any questions? Yeah.
So Mayor Landry actually had a similar event last year where Modesty, who was last year's chair, and then I went to kind of get things started. So a little background information for somebody else who doesn't, for those who weren't there. What really happened was just her really introducing herself, right, as a new mayor to all the commissions, and she kind of brought that idea up in terms of getting a piece idea of an idea from all the different commissions, because everybody's doing different projects, but none of us know what each other commission is doing. So like another like background thing, I think if it's still along the lines of what I remember, it's kind of like, keeping everybody in the loop and trying to figure out ways to, just, better Campbell itself. So that's some more background information from what I remember from our meeting last year.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, it doesn't sound like it's going to be it's not going to be like a bi-weekly thing like this is. Any other questions about it before we nominate somebody? Okay. Would anyone like to nominate someone to be this liaison, or nominate yourself?
I nominate Drew.
I also nominate Drew.
Drew, do you accept this nomination?
I accept the nomination until we get, further information.
Mm-hmm. Any other nominations? All right, well, I guess we don't have to vote. Congrats, Drew.
All right, well, thank you. I don't know if we're going to have any public comments on that, but just to be on the safe side, are there any?
No.
All right, cool. Okay, so the next thing that we have is the Yak Social, which is on November 20th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Julie, if you'd like, or if you wanted to, I can. Did you want to explain, or do you want me to go in depth? All right, cool. All right, so it was actually last week we kind of met up, or no, it was 2 weeks ago. We met up with a bunch of commissions, kind of in the Bay Area, could kind of plan this event. So those of you who were here last year, you may have attended last year, where we met up at like a little center, got to interact with different commissions, had pizza, hung out, and had a blast. So this year they're trying to do something again, where it's more like a lot more online, maybe just a big event where it's going to be one really talking about like 3 major issues that we all kind of agreed on when we had that meeting that really are very pertinent to teens. So there's 3 topics that were brought up or 3 discussion topics that's probably going to happen. It's really talking about, one, how have teenagers really adapted to doing everything online, especially in COVID-19. The second aspect is how have they kind of adapted socially in terms of like each school has taken different, so another way for us to communicate with different cities, different representatives of youth, kind of learn about how they've been handling the situation, like their kind of talk about it, to kind of build up that kind of conversation, understand, how people have adjusted. And like the third topic, I believe, do correct me if I missed anything or I'm wrong, but it was kind of really comparing like kind of commission work plans in terms of like how we have adapted our events as youth commissions, and really just trying to bounce ideas off of each other in terms of ways either better events or maybe like to reach out, because we had like a small interaction with Cupertino and Saratoga and already learned a lot just from them in that small amount of time. And this Yak Social should be like a great way for us to learn about youth commissions all the way up like in the South Bay, for example, kind of learn what they're doing like in Belmont, and like they can bounce off ideas off of us in Gilroy. So that's kind of like a little basis in terms of the Yak Social. But there will be like time for fun and games, playing some online games like Among Us. There's like Scribble.io or Scribblio. Still don't know how to pronounce it, but that's like one of the other games that we like had in mind, and a bunch of other online games too, the different breakout rooms. So it's really gonna be a great way for us to interact with like I mentioned before, different youth commission members, and just really learn a lot about what's going on in the Bay Area and how teens have kind of taken like that step up to make a difference and really just connect a lot more in terms of this current times. Is there anything else you'd like to add on, Julie?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well. Yeah, so it will be an online event, of course, on the 20th from 7 to 8:30. So this is something that I expect everyone to be at, unless you right now have a prior engagement that messes with that time. So message me if there is something already on your calendar. But I hope everyone can make it because it is fun just to interact with different commissions and see what they're doing. Everyone has totally different ideas and it's really cool to hear about. So it's a fun event if you guys haven't been before.
Trust me when I say this, like you may think you know what a youth commission does, but you like on that when I did it for the first time, like especially 2 weeks ago, there are some commissions who are just mainly focused on like a little bit more political aspect, but then there's some are more social. And it's like a really great way for us to like, learn about how we're all like, built different and have different goals, but it's still centered on the same idea. So I really would like to say like, do try to make it a point to attend. It'd be a really great way for all of us to learn and, plan for future events and also for the coming years. So are there any other comments or questions anybody has? Are there any public comments? All right, cool. So the next thing on new business is the November game night. So we have to pick a date.
Yeah, so I think game night was fun this month. So I think we'll keep it to a Monday night that we don't already have a meeting. So we have a meeting November 9th. We will have the 23rd off because that's Thanksgiving week. So if you guys have a preference between November 2nd or the 16th, do we want to just do a vote on which day works best for people?
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Okay. Raise your hand if November 2nd works for you.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh, yeah, question.
What, do we have a time or?
I think the 7 to 8 time kind of worked best since that's when these meetings are and most people are free around then. Yeah. So raise your hand if November 2nd from 7 to 8 works for your schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And then raise your hand if November 16th from 7 to 8 would work for you. Okay. More for the 16th, I think. So let's plan for that one for November. Cool.
Are there any other questions or comments? Any public comments? All right, now time for calendar reminders. So we do know the Yak Social November 20th, and we don't have a meeting on November 23rd. Emily, want to read off the dates that we kind of took over for the different subcommittees?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so for college and beyond, there's an essay writing from 5 to 7 p.m. November 11th. And then for civic engagement environment, the 11th or November 11th, November 8th has the environment challenge, and we encourage you guys to be a part of it. December 16th, Wellness will be having a speaker named Eric to talk about the different mental health illnesses, but also like how to help one another. November 20th or 21st is the Recreation Thanksgiving Craft, and Social Justice will be having November 13th at 4 p.m. on a Zoom call with the speaker talking about the immigration and formal justice, and also talking about the different issues and movements to influence people. I hope I covered anything. If anyone has to say anything that I forgot, please let me know.
Not that you forgot, but I just think that the time is 4:30. It's not super important, but it starts at 4:30 p.m. and not for the November 13th social justice immigration speaker event.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Emily. Are there any other questions or comments or any public comments? All right, then I guess it's time for once around the table. So who'd like to start us off?
I can go first. This week we're going to have like a drive-through Halloween parade at our school, and so we've been working really hard to finish all the decorations and everything for that. So that's exciting.
I got Chick-fil-A this weekend and it was really good.
I got braces about 2 weeks ago, and I'm finally used to the braces in my mouth. So
I went down to Capitola last week with my family, and we got lunch at this really good bakery.
My family and I went and got pumpkins last weekend, or like just this past weekend, and we carved different things. I carved a big Totoro face into my pumpkin.
I went hiking with my family yesterday, and then we drove to this like beautiful neighborhood, and there's a lake there. So yeah, it's really lovely.
I'm in our fall play at Westmont Clue, and our opening night is on November 13th, and so we started getting like costumes and hair and makeup already, and it's pretty exciting.
Yesterday, my sister visited from college, and her fish recently died, so we had a funeral for her fish, and we played the Kids Bop version of Bad Day while we buried it. And yeah, so it's sitting outside of our house, like covered in dry leaves, right? But it wasn't too sad. It was pretty fun.
So funny story. Yesterday, well, actually no, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday we got we finally got our first Halloween decoration because my mom has never been big on Halloween. She doesn't like it. So my brother convinced her to get these spider webs, the fake spider webs. So we spent the day the afternoon putting it all over plants and stuff. And then we put it on our lemon tree. And so it was fine, it was fine at first. Next day, my brother's outside scootering and he sees this bird fly straight at our lemon tree and then it gets stuck in the spider web. So he comes inside and he's like, Kaylin, there's a bird in stuck in the spider web. And it was like, what? So then he grabs the scissors, comes outside, and he has to cut around the bird to cut it free. He freed it, so the bird's okay now, but it had a little bit of wispy spider web tied to its foot. So yeah, that was a fun day.
Somebody had a birthday this weekend.
I
Ashling.
might have had a birthday on Saturday.
Well, you know what that means. Everybody, please unmute yourself. It's time to sing. Okay, it's time to sing. And please, everybody watching the public YouTube, please feel free to sing at your house at the top of your lungs. All right, so like 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ashley. Happy birthday
Birthday, dear Ashley. Happy birthday to you.
All right, I guess I'll go next. So I'm kind of disappointed that Lexi did not tell me she was coming, Simone. So next time you see her, tell her she owes me coffee. All right, because that's not good. Another thing that happened. So I kind of got reminded to wear my banana costume. So what happened is that our school, Lily can probably confirm this too, but over the past couple of years, like all the time at Halloween, a bunch of guys just wear a banana suit on campus. And like they kind of like there's like a big bunch of them taking pictures. Like my freshman year, they're like literally 10 to the point where last year they had like a good 35 people. And like they kind of passed down the legacy. And I got lucky. I don't know why, but they like Drew just take my banana suit, just wear it for next year. And I got reminded because he's in Capitol. He's over at Cal Poly, and he's like, you better be wearing like a banana suit all day, on Halloween. So I do have people making sure I wear this banana suit. So catch me on social media just posting about this just out of nowhere. But yeah, that's kind of like my update.
I bought. Oh, go ahead, Carmen.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say we got a lot of pumpkins, like the edible kind, and so now we have a lot of them, and so yay! It's time to drink pumpkin soup.
I was gonna say I bought 2 Costco size bags of candy. Said I wouldn't open them till Halloween, but opened them last night. So, that's about how my weekend's going.
I signed up to do this fashion show for Bellarmine, so I'm gonna dance in it, and we've been practicing for that. It's been super fun.
Did we get everyone?
Amog.
I went camping with my mom over the weekend. With some people through Boy Scouts, and we played like a really, really intense game of 13. Oh yeah, I cooked like spaghetti and meatballs on like a propane stove. Took forever, but it was still good.
Thank you, Mrs. Kunamori, for letting us know what Mo did over the weekend. Any other public or any other questions or comments you'd like to say? Any public comments? All right, then I guess that about wraps it up. I'd like to conclude this meeting at 7:54 p.m.